We all love it when a conversation with friends or people we're getting to know goes really well. When the laughter flows, the stories continue late into the night. When you felt like everyone was invested in building relationships and was curious about you just as much as you were in them. But have you ever struggled to figure out what's next in a relationship? How do you pick things back up or rally people so it's not a one and done relational experience? How do you agree not to settle for something that becomes stale? Finding ways for the relationship to truly grow so that no one just up and walks away. For being a culture that is more connected than any before this, during a time when we literally have access to one another with the simple touch of a button, finding a rhythm to our relationships does take intentionality. On the surface, it seems kind of funny to think that we need to plan our next step in a relationship. But I wonder if we did make that plan, how would it affect us and the other people on the other side of that relationship? Our older son, he runs cross country, and believe it or not, my senior year of high school, I joined my cross country team as well. I had never been a runner, but the coach and some friends convinced me that I should give it a try. It was a really great experience, no doubt. And I couldn't help but compare my experience a million years ago in high school to my son's when he joined. And I was interested to learn that the coaches have something different than I experienced. They have a very personalized plan for each runner. He's a JV runner who's in his first year, so while that doesn't mean they take it easy on him by any means, they don't just send everyone out for a fast run at the same speed or the same distance. So what does a plan like this do? Well, I think it sets everyone up for great success. My son's running plan is meant for him, and they work with him to figure out what he's going to do to gain stamina or shave off some seconds at his next race. It doesn't leave him time to compare his run to the number one varsity runner who is on a very different plan. When we think about the relationships in our lives, maybe we could learn from these coaches and think about it somewhat similarly. After all, we can't just coast along assuming that our relationships will grow without a plan to commit to working at them a bit. If we similarly just throw the same dinner party week after week, asking the same questions or eating the same foods, that doesn't mean relationships will automatically experience growth. We have to ask ourselves, where is that other person at? How can I both meet them in the middle and encourage them to be stretched a little bit? How can I also wonder, in what ways am I willing to be stretched? I think lots of times in my life, I simply gave up on a relationship because things got hard. When there were disagreements or finger pointing, yes, that happens naturally. But sometimes it also happened when there was silence, when we just didn't know what to do next. In the book of 1 Peter, we read these words about relationships and community building. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So ask yourself today, what's next in your relationships? How can you make sure people don't walk out the back door of your house or your workplace or your church, never to step foot in it again? How can you see people where they're at, stretch one another to experience growth, and find ways to experience deeper relationships that are grounded in love?